You're wasting hundreds of dollars every single month on supplements that aren't doing a single thing for your hormones, and they actually might be making them worse. The wellness industry has really convinced us that there's a pill for every ill. We move away from pharmaceuticals. Instead of using a pharmaceutical for every ill, now we have a supplement for every single ill. But the truth is, that's just really giving you expensive pee. And I want to break down some of the really overhyped supplements that I feel like every woman feels like they need to bring into their supplement graveyard. And you have this massive cabinet full of supplements that you've heard are going to help balance your hormones. You took them for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, didn't notice a difference, stopped taking it. It now lives in your cupboard because you wasted your money on it. You don't want to throw it away, but what on earth do you do with it? Okay. So hands down, the first one that I have to go over, please don't hate me, is going to be a multivitamin. So I have for a very long time hated multivitamins, and it's because it's a very generic dosage and it's not enough of any of the vitamins or minerals in there to actually move the needle for what you are probably needing. And so you're just spending money on something that's not really doing anything for you. And on the flip side, it could actually be harming you, because a lot of multivitamins out there, if you're especially buying them from your local grocery store, probably have heavy metals in them. There's been multiple lawsuits showing that. And then they're full of fillers. So it doesn't even have a ton of any of the vitamins and minerals that you are seeing on there. And a lot of times, not only are you giving yourself heavy metals, but you're giving yourself a lot of other things that maybe you don't like. Have you noticed that on the back of multivitamins, it will say things like colors, like artificial dye? What on earth? Who cares if your supplement is actually pretty? Who cares? But unfortunately, that is the case. So you're not getting enough of what you need. And then on top of that, you're probably giving yourself a bunch of things that you don't need. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to put up there is actually across the board supplements. It's going to be anything that is not a something that's been third party tested and is full of fillers. So please, when you're taking a supplement, there's a couple things that you need to be paying attention to. One, is it actually third party tested? Does it have the ingredients in there that it says it does? Because anybody can say anything about their supplement. Make sure it's third party tested. I love when supplement companies have a certificate of analysis that you are allowed to look at. I feel like that really aids to their transparency and makes you really trust them because, they're being very open about what's in their supplement. The other thing is please check for fillers. Okay. So a lot of times you'll turn around your supplements and it will have soy in it and carrageenan in it and maltodextrin and all these things. We don't need those in our supplements. Okay. They're not going to aid us in any way. And they're actually going to be, not helpful. They're going to be harmful. Okay. So let's at least make sure that we are getting supplements that are third party tested. And then let's also make sure that we're paying attention to the fillers. And then especially for supplements, for example, like magnesium, I really highly encourage you. Magnesium would be one. Pea protein would be another one. I feel like protein powder kind of goes into a supplement category as well. Make sure you're checking for heavy metals, okay? Because these are things that are coming from the earth and they're naturally going to be higher. Like magnesium is naturally higher in arsenic. Pea protein is naturally higher in lead. So let's make sure that we're looking at heavy metal testing. So we're not taking something and hoping that it's benefiting us and then we're just putting more heavy metals in our system, okay? So that's going to be across the board. Please look at that when it comes to your supplements. Okay, so we've knocked out multivitamins, we knocked out generic ones. Okay, hormone balance blends, women's hormone balance blend, and it will literally say like metabolic blend, balance your hormones, and it has this little like sprinkle of herbs in there, like maca, Vitex, ashwagandha, rhodiola, be like cortisol balancing, all of these things. It doesn't have enough of anything in there to actually make a difference. And if it's not something that your hormones actually need, it's just going to make everything worse. Okay. So don't go around randomly supplementing because, oh, it's an adaptogen, it's going to be useful. When it comes to all of these, like ashwagandha, for example, you want to be looking at something that has the ashwagandha root. And most supplement companies aren't using ashwagandha root. And when it comes down to herbs and anything that are adaptogens and supporting women's hormones, you really want to make sure that you're getting the right part of the plant, and then you're actually needing it in the first place. Another example would be maca. If you're someone with PCOS and you already have excess androgens, maca is not going to love you. It's not going to serve you. It's going to make those problems worse. Okay. So please be very wary of anything that's like a women's hormone balance blend. You potentially probably really don't need it, and it could actually cause more harm. Okay. Anything that's like a detox or a liver cleanse or whatever it is along those lines, because detox needs to come after drainage. Okay. So drainage is how things are getting out. So pooping, peeing, sweating, breathing, all of those are your drainage pathways. And a lot of times we'll go, oh, I need to support my liver. I need to do this detox. I need to do this cleanse. But if our drainage pathways aren't open and things aren't getting out, where are they going? You're in there like doing these aggressive cleanse and detoxes. Where are they going? Okay. So you have to focus on drainage first, which also brings me back to the whole multivitamin. Let's circle back to the first one. Instead of going on a generic multi, why don't we do testing to know exactly what you need? This is where I would bring in something like hair tissue mineral analysis. Let's get very specific in what vitamins and minerals you need. And that circles me back to detox. Before you detox, you need to build up your reserves so that you're able to detox very well and easily. So I know I said you need to do drainage. Yes, you do. You also need to support your vital reserve and support where we are really depleted. Okay. So those are the top ones that I feel like cover us. And I'm going to throw in one bonus one for you, and that's going to be a probiotic. Because probiotics, a lot of times, your generic probiotics aren't making it past your stomach acid. And so they're just dying and you have really expensive poop. Okay. So something that has like made my brain hurt a little bit when people talk about it is I take a refrigerated probiotic. So it's strong. Well, if it needs to be refrigerated to survive, how's it making it past your stomach acid in the heat of your body? I am just curious. I would like to know. So if you are just, bringing on the probiotics and not paying attention to your overall gut terrain, like maybe you actually have overgrowth in your gut and we need to be paying attention to balancing out that microbiome. Probiotic is going to cause a lot more issues, but a lot of times I would say 90% of the time probiotics are just a really expensive poop supplement for most people because they aren't actually doing anything. They're not actually making it anywhere into your gut. They're just getting killed off by your stomach acid and body heat and all of those things. So please keep that in mind when you are when you're paying attention to it. So those are, my bonus one. Okay. So now if you want something that is, let's say you're like, I can't jump into testing right now, which is going to save you the most money in the long run. It truly is. But you need something to help build up your body. I pretty confidently can say that beef organs are going to be something that are nature's multivitamin. This is something I even utilize with my kids, making sure they get in beef organs. You can do this very cheaply by adding it to your food, literally like getting in beef organs from your butcher and adding it to any of your meals. I love adding it to any beef products that I'm utilizing. So if you're making meatballs or you're making meatloaf or hamburgers and adding in beef organs, if you think it's truly just the most disdainful thing you've ever heard in your life, there's supplements out there, there's supplement companies out there that have great transparency, that have beef organs from grass-fed, grass-finished being the key word there, cows, and that can be something that you could bring in. It is a supplement, I guess, because it comes in a capsule, but it is food. So that is something that I would put more into the food category. Paleo Valley is hands down probably my favorite, probably the most cost-effective beef organ You can use the coupon code Leah to save with them. Ancestral Supplements is another one that has one. And then Heart and Soil is another one that has one. I will say the one thing in Heart and Soil's benefit is they do use glass jars, which I do love. But I also like the price tag of Paleo Value better. So anyways, that is something that I think generically across the board is a food, but has the pack punch of a supplement and is generally something that's super helpful. So just please pass supplements through this filter now going forward. Be like, okay, is this something with a generic dosage, which is not even going to help me? Is it full of fillers and heavy metals? Does it have tazidine? Or is it, just something that's not going to be useful for me? And a great place to kind of start is like, look at the marketing label on top. If it's like hormone balance blend, metabolic blend, happy blend, sleep blend, marketing terms like that, they're great. They hype you up about a product, but look at the back. The label is the one that's going to tell you if it actually has a significant dosage of anything. I'm always a little wary of things that go proprietary blend, just because you don't know how much of what is in there is the dosage that you're getting. So, that can be a little bit tricky. So again, let's demand more transparency from our companies. Let's demand high quality. And that's why we see some amazing brands that are starting to emerge, because we as a consumer can vote with our dollar when it comes to that and really demand that transparency. So that is where I would start when it comes to supplements.